Hey guys, hope you're well. Just making this video near the end of the year. I wanted to share 5 things you can do to have an extraordinary year next year. I'm currently out in London with family. We're just celebrating Christmas and just building up to the new year. I'll give you a bit of a view of where I'm at. Just getting a bit of view of London. It's very beautiful here. But I just thought I'd make this video because at this time of year, there's a lot people are thinking about, and for a lot of people, there's expected hardship ahead and expected challenges. But at the same time, for some people, people are very excited about the year ahead. And I wanted to just make this video to almost bridge that gap, almost to highlight that the year that we have ahead of us is all down to our mindset and the way that we think about our year. The way we really approach the year is what will establish the sort of year that we end up having. So for today's video, I wanted to just share 5 things that Mary and I are doing practically to help us, instead of having a challenging year, instead focus on having an extraordinary year. Okay? If you love the sound of that, really appreciate it. If you hit the subscribe button, that just helps to get our message out to many more people. Okay? So the very first thing I'd do, because when I think of an extraordinary year, I think of a year that's balanced across different aspects of our lives. It's not just about our finances, but it looks at other aspects of our lives that makes the year extraordinary. But starting, the very first thing I'd look at is our finances. This is obviously a personal finance channel. The very first thing I'd do is just to ask myself, how did this current year go? So I'm making this video in 2022, at the end of 2022. For you personally, how has 2022 gone? Yeah? Just do a thorough reflection. This is actually why we're out in town, to rest as well as to reflect. What went well for you, and what did not go so well for you in the year 2022. 2022 was a very brutal year for many people, very challenging year, but it also presented many opportunities, and many people have wins. Many exciting things have happened for the many key life milestones. So what was your year like in 2022 and why? One thing I'd particularly recommend as part of that financial review is to look at your financial net worth. If you've never worked this out, it's a simple calculation. Simply write down, what does your financial life look like on one page of A4. So it's a look at what your assets look like in your life, if you've got any, and a look at what your liabilities look like if you've got any in your life. And the reason I like looking at the net worth calculation is that it just helps you, first of all, see what your financial number looks like, first of all. But it also helps you really dig into the key elements of your net worth to see how those elements are helping you achieve your much bigger life goals. You know, how much of your assets are liquid, for example, and what sort of goals might you want to set around those liquid elements of your assets. What does your liability profile look like, and what might you want to do about becoming debt free in the year that's coming? Yeah, stuff like that. So a financial review is the very first thing I'd do to really set the scene for what will become an extraordinary year if you choose it. Remember, I keep saying mindset, because everything's about the state of mind that you go into the year with. If you go in positively, you will achieve a positive outcome overall. If you go into the year negatively and fearfully, you end up being fearful for most of the year and probably achieve a worse outcome. So that's the first thing I'd do. If you've got a partner, by the way, when it comes to this, the chat about finances, this is actually a really good time to have a conversation with your partner as well. I think looking at your finances from these lens really is a good conversation starter for someone who has a partner. If you're single, then that's an individual conversation you'd have. So Mary and I, for example, whilst we're out here in London, are having conversations like this at the moment. Whilst we're in a hotel with family members, my parents, my siblings, and so on. Each of the couples are having similar conversations themselves as well. Okay, so that's the very first thing. The second thing I'd look at is income goals. Okay, now it's funny. I got an email recently with the examples of resolutions, financial resolutions that people make around this time of year. And on there was things like, I need to check my credit more often. I need to save more money more often. I need to get out of debt, stuff like that. It's great, and the lists were fantastic, and there were good things to be on the list. But one thing that was not on the list was people's income goals. There seems to be a cultural, I don't know, almost shyness almost when it comes to talking about making more money. So the second thing I'd focus on strongly to have an extraordinary year ahead is to set yourself a very strong income goal. Now, I know there's a lot of debate about people getting a pay rise. There's a lot of debate about so many things, earning more money and stuff like that. That's all fine. I get it, and those debates will carry on, and people, striking and stuff like that. And that's all well and good. I get it. People want to earn more, and that's good because they need to. However, I'd say you should set yourself as a recommendation, and this would sound steep, but bear with me. I'd say you should set yourself a 25% income goal based on your current income. So whatever your income is right now, add 25% to it. Now, you might be going, oh, I can barely get any pay rises. I can barely even get a 2% pay rise. People are struggling to get pay rises. I get it. But I'm doing that deliberately because I want you to set an income goal that really, really stretches you. Really, really stretches you. By the way, please forgive the background noise. I'm in a hotel, so you might hear dishes and stuff. But the income goal is designed to stretch you because the thing I've personally learned from our own journey is whenever I've set myself a mediocre goal, I get mediocre outcomes. But whenever I've set myself pretty challenging goals, I find the creativity gets switched on. I find myself waking up thinking of how I can solve my problems. So that 25%, you might hit it if you set it. You might exceed it if you set it, and you might not hit it if you set it. However, it will get you moving and doing stuff to try to get yourself out of your current situation and get you earning a lot more from different sources. Okay, that's the second thing. And tied to earning more, we've made lots of videos on earning more, which I'll link to below and above. If you follow us on Instagram at The Humble Penny, we've also created a bunch of carousels that you should go and look at. You notice that to earn more, you obviously need to skill up in various ways. So digital skills, tech skills, money skills are areas that I'd focus on quite strongly. If you want to earn more, there's obviously lots of other skills, but those are skills that I've personally found give you that ability to earn above the average level of pay rises that people normally generate. That's the second thing I'd focus on for an extraordinary year. The third thing I'd focus on is unique experiences. Now, I would say that you should look to book for yourself up to 5 unique experiences in the coming year. Now, this is obviously budget dependent. Don't book anything with money you don't have. Don't go into debt trying to book yourself unique experiences. What I'm saying here is I've personally found that if you really want to have an extraordinary year, you need to have things that you have in your life that really help you to enjoy your life as well, to have fun, to really feel like each year that you've really made the most of your year. That's why I've set up to 5 unique experiences. Now, I'll give you an example of unique experiences that Mary and I are booking, again, based on our personal budget. You can do the same based on your budget and your interests. But one of them is we're going to be visiting one of the world's biggest water parks and going to be having a water fight with our kids because it's something they've always wanted and it's something that we're excited about doing. So that's one unique experience. Another unique experience, you will know if you've been watching our channel for some time that Mary and I are of African heritage, we're of Nigerian heritage. So we would love to have a few more unique experiences in the continent of Africa. And again, that's based on our interests and based on our own budget, and so on. So for you, what are your unique experiences and why? So what I've personally found is you should try and dot them around a year. So maybe one maybe in February, maybe one in May, maybe one in the summer, and so on. So that way, through the year, you have some really unique things that you're looking forward to. Not necessarily things that are very expensive at all. There could be things that don't even cost you any money, but provided it's a unique experience that you've intentionally sought out for yourself and booked, then you have something to look forward to that will make your year memorable. Aim for around 5, up to 5, by the way. It doesn't have to be 5. It could be more, it could be less. It's completely up to you. Okay. The fourth thing I'd recommend for an extraordinary year is a self-care plan. I've had many years where I've worked very hard. I've worked very hard, Mary and I, very hard. But the thing I've always thought about in all these years of working hard and trying to really get ourselves forward is that we only have one body. There's only one me. In the same way there's only one you. There's only one body, And so a big part of what financial joy means to us is well-being. And self-care plays a really big role in that. But the thing I've found is you can say, oh, I want to have more self-care, but that actually means nothing if you've got no plan for it. So the fourth thing I'd recommend is to have a self-care plan. You need some kind of routine for how you look after yourself. For example, do you have a workout plan every week, or do you treat yourself to a massage once a month, or do you make sure you sleep 7 or 8 hours a day guaranteed? Do you are you doing things to take breaks from social media periodically and stuff like that, so that you're not constantly being subjected to other people's views and a lot of the fake things you see on social media? I don't know. But the key here is you need a form of self-care plan, a way of really working on the number one asset, which is you. So that would be the fourth thing. One of the things we're doing, by the way, I should mention, is Mary and I are working a 4-day week. And we started this over the last few weeks, and we're looking to really make this a big part of our year coming up. Which has meant that we've had to really reorganize our calendar. We've looked at the entire year ahead, and we've, in the calendar booked in, where our key projects are and our key bits of work. And then we've booked out certain things as part of our self-care plan. Like, for example, we've booked August, the whole month of August, off entirely. We do that every year now to travel. And then we've got intervals in there where we've booked time off just to rest. Then on top of that, we've got 4-day week and stuff like that. So, that's unique to us. What is your own plan? What is your own self-care plan? Such that when you get to the end of the year, you are less stressed, you are less worried about stuff, you feel more energetic, you feel more rested, you feel good in yourself as an individual. Yeah? What is your self-care plan? Then the final thing I'd mention, my fifth thing for an extraordinary year, is a fun hobby. So you need a hobby that has nothing to do with money, not anything that you're monetizing, not anything that you are doing for any other gain, but you're doing it purely for fun, as something that you actually enjoy. Yeah, something that will bring a lot of play to your life. What are the hobbies you have? I've personally found as I've gotten older that I've just had fewer hobbies. I've just got my hobbies have turned into work in many ways, which is not very good, to be honest. So I've had to really think about this a lot and think to myself, what are the things that I do? I used to really just love photography, just take my camera, get into London, for example, and just take pictures, get onto Tower Bridge or get onto London Bridge, just take pictures, just play around with the camera, play around with sorry, a call's coming in. Just play around with different settings of my camera and stuff like that. Yeah. So, what is it you do as a hobby? Or what would you love to do as a hobby? Yeah. Write those down or decide on what that is ahead of the year and really try and bring that to life. Yeah. I'd love to, obviously I haven't covered everything that you can do to have an extraordinary year, but I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What part of what I said today really spoke to you? Which of the 5 things I shared would you implement? Perhaps all of them, perhaps some of them. Let me know. It's good to also hear from you. What would you add to that list of 5 things that I mentioned? Jump in the comments and let me know. But as we come to the end of the year, remember, as I started this video, the year ahead, it's all about mindset. Okay, if you get the mindset right, it sets the foundation for everything else. Okay, so don't be drawn into negativity, don't be dragged by fear. Really approach this year and think of this year, that this year could be your best year ever. Even though most people will be thinking of this year as the most fearful year, the most negative year, the most expensive year, the most everything, insert every negative. But perhaps we could turn that on its head and think very positively. Perhaps we could think of this year as our best year yet. Yeah? Deal? Okay. I'm doing it. I hope you're doing it too. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you really enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the video and like it whilst you're at it. And as we say on this channel, as always, in all things people, be thankful and seek joy. Love from Mary and I. Bye for now.